Okay, so we look at your setup on the left. Can't quite see, obviously, the spine angle that we've adjusted with that, okay? But just making sure there's a little bit of tilt with your spine angle. We sort of showcase on here how we'll do that, okay? But the left-hand one, again, ball was going a little bit too far forward, okay? You were leaning onto your left to kind of reach the golf ball, which kind of obviously in some ways helps you spin your body too quick on the way down, okay? So as you went back here, okay, it gets a little bit laid off, so then you sort of redirect the angle back here now. But that club now, when you steepen it, that's coming a little bit steep to the hitting area. Your hands are now working out this way too far. They're not working down. As you then come back in the golf, everything's now working away from you out here. The gap between your hands and how far away your hands are from your body, it's going to push a steeper, heelier angle. And your arms from the shoulder are almost going to the shaft, yeah? So unless you've got Bryson at the clubs, you're going to catch things very heely and very much outside and around the golf. When you look at all the tour players when they're striking the ball their best, yeah? There's kind of that look to their angle, yeah? That sort of pebble skimming, you sort of see them kind of in here with a bit more sort of side bend this way rather than throwing at and around to the right. And a lot of that comes from just your body spinning and then your way of holding on to the golf club because you're scared of that duck hook, okay? So if you look at the different angles you produce in there now, this one, the practice swing here now, you can see the club comes back down. That's a bit more through your right forearm there, okay? Up there's good. Keep your back to tight. There you go. That's going through your right forearm there. Keep things shallower. You can see as you come in, see how much your body is twisted there. The club's back to square. Look where your shoulders are aiming, yeah? So you kind of pulled the club with a lot of rotation there. That rotation's going to happen. You don't need to initiate that as much, okay? You're going to twist your body quite a lot anyway. So, and then that would be more your impact position here with the shoulders. You looked up and went, oh, that's too far, yeah? So there you go. That would be better there, you see, yeah? So the shoulders now are more tilted. You can see your left arm there now, right side a bit more underneath as you're going through. And then we've done that as a practice movement. That sort of hand going down the leg as we showed you just tips the shoulders a bit more to that right side. And then from a swing perspective now, up the top of the backswing, you've got to feel the body unwinding a little bit slower, yeah? So as you get to the top of the backswing here now, the body is not going to do so much. The arms can fall a bit. That's more in through your right forearm. The arms are starting to come down a bit. You can still see they work out to the ball here. They're still working a bit out to the golf ball that way, more than we want to, okay? But as we start coming through, I mean, if we go back, impact there. Go back one, there you go. There's impact. The arms going down a bit, not really, they're still a little bit reached out because when you put speed to these moves, they're just going to go back to instinct, okay? So you've got to practice that movement, as we said, over and over to the point where you can do it, yeah? It wasn't a necky cut, it was just a nice little draw on the left-hand side, okay? It wasn't the best strike, as we said, but at least we're getting this club now shallowing off here. So you can get the sensation of kind of hitting that sort of high draw rather than the sky or the low smother, or the only way you could really find fairway was that necky cut, which, okay, after 10 or 15 shots, you're in some really nice shots on the fairway at 250, but you're kind of making 2 or 3 runs make it right, yeah? You're closing the club face with the Healy strike, hanging onto the club face to stop hooking it, and then just, yeah. It's too many combinations that aren't ideal that then create a lot of inconsistencies with that club. And when this goes wrong for you, it's just a destructive shot, yeah? So you're playing off 19, 20, 21, that kind of thing, partly because of 3 or 4 drives in a round of golf that are just killing you, yeah? Now, admittedly, there are going to be some holes you don't need driver, and there are some holes where you could play them a little bit more, okay, well, I'll knock it down the fairway there. And if needs be, some holes you might find difficult to play as a par 5, yeah? Doesn't matter, though. I played a par 3 once in a tournament. I had to lay up. I wasn't good enough to hit the green, yeah? And the green was ridiculous, and like loads of guys just dumped in the water. I thought, well, why dump in the water and drop where I'm going to lay up to? I just lay up and then went on and made a par that way, or a bogey, whatever, yeah? And then you make up for the rest of the round. There's not always the way you must play a hole, yeah? If you feel you've got to lay up, then you've got to lay up, yeah? Know what your skills is. Can I hit the fairway? If the fairway's that wide, if I can't hit it, go in that driver, yeah? Find a club that will hit the fairway and then get down the fairway and then go on the green for 3, yeah? Rather than hit that one and go wee and then lose the ball and then you're back to the start position playing 3 off the tee back here. All right, so I think some practice with that new movement as a feel. Start trying to feel what that sensation is, but your body's going to unwind. As you bring the club down, there's more lateral shift as your arms come back in front. You don't need to rotate. If when you do that first move in front of the mirror, you could see when you first did that, you got the club from here and then you were like, and your hands are like way out in front, the hips have gone back this way. and the club was steep, yeah, you've got to feel from here more that way, yeah, almost like you're sort of pushing the sofa against the wall there as I'm moving in, yeah. So I'm moving this way, yeah. That rotation is going to happen, mate. So it doesn't need to be initiated. All right, make sense?
Yeah.
Good stuff, right?